Cameron's actually an actor in Jacob Tyler, so he's even more good and special. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm gonna try and do it on the computer, but alas,
All right,
seem to be wanting that, so we'll have to do it.
right, fair enough. Aye, I know. You know, I think I've only went on Instagram once on a computer one, and it's just not the same as like what you would have on your phone, is it? It's so
No, it's not as responsive as on your phone.
It's just an absolute nightmare, mate. Like, not the same. There is perfect. I know. It kind of shows that it's literally made for a phone, into. So, how are you, man?
Never had yourselves.
I'm living the dream, just non-stop. So, yeah, I've just got my head wrapped around when we're finally going to finish this off and all the rest of it. But we know we'll get there in the end. We finally, maybe potentially found a spot to film your hospital scenes. So,
all right,
and the problem is it's in college. It's in a college, but the problem is, I think we've wrote an email to send through to someone for them to send through to another, and then the process is just so like big in that, and then they have to kind of confirm everything. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. I'm in the same boat with trying to get some of my own films sorted.
Well, that's one of my questions for you as well. Have you got anything lined up? What's your deal right now?
So at the moment we're just finishing off uni, so finishing off the fourth year. But I've got going off of your lead, I've started writing a feature film. This is going to be a supernatural horror set up in the Highlands.
All right.
But there's a lot to go into it because I've started far too big with having about several different cities being involved. So there might be a lot of
yes. To be bold.
But, so yeah, that's going. But no, at the moment it's just finishing off uni for it. Finish off that fourth year, and just trying to get the company on its feet.
Right, yeah. And is that Tartan Pan? Wait, is that not Tartan Films?
Yeah, Tartan Films.
Yeah.
So
you own the rights to Tartan Films? Have you bought over the title?
do now, yes. So originally it was called Tartan Productions.
Right, yeah.
But that was like a working title, and then when I went to register it as a company, someone had registered it about 3 months prior. So I'm sitting in my flat in Glasgow with Dan, frantically trying to figure out how to do this. And he was like, well, if you tried just, Tartan Films. I was like, I don't know. And I let me register that. So we had a quick turnaround of company name.
No, yeah. I think, see, when it came to Apple Tree, it was like we had, we wanted it to be Apple Tree Productions, and then we were like, right, so that's been taken. So it was like, right, Apple Tree Films, that should be good. It's been taken. So now we got left with Apple Tree Pictures, which I still like. Like you wouldn't just half-arse the title in the first place if you didn't really like it. You know what I mean? So, and Nico obviously designed that logo and everything pretty well. So far so good with it all. But as you know, like when you're making a film, like literally, mate, it's such a migraine, isn't it? Like you're saying that for you to basically make the film you want, like you have to, like you can't, like I just feel like when I write a script or write a story, I need to stick with like what my intention is. And, like with Jacob Tyler, like yeah, like I've set it in one town, like that's fair, but I need Chad's Diner, I need the hospital, I need,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and you just need to figure out a way how to kind of come across it all.
Yeah. So it's the same with the one that I'm in the middle of doing. So it's highly inspired by dog soldiers.
All right.
Remember that? But yeah, but no, there's been a lot of. So it turns out that trying to get access to areas, especially in the Highlands, is so difficult to do.
Yeah.
Just trying to get like folk up there, but
Are you filming around Elgin?
I'll be using the train station. So using train station alongside the side of Asda's. So we'll be getting like quite recognizable brands in there, which is the only issue.
The big issue.
Yeah, the people around the area will be looking at me funny as I'm standing out with my phone, trying to be like, we should actually get this right angle, but it's trying to not get brands in there.
Yeah.
The same issue we had with, obviously, when we filmed bits of Jacob Tyler is trying not to get brands in there.
Yeah, literally. It's like, see, when we were doing the couch scene not long ago with Ibs, when one of his Abrams scenes, we had to crunch up some beer cans and, you know, put some bottles down and like you could kind of still tell that it's so obvious that it's like a Stella can or a Corona can, and it was just so funny, and we were like, and it's like, so why does he move on to cans and bottles? So I says, he must just have a mixed collection in his fridge. He's just raiding his fridge to see what's there, basically. So you're making up every excuse as you go along.
Yeah.
But I mind when we filmed Chad's the party scene.
Yeah.
We had to tear all the labels
off.
Yeah, the beer bottles and that.
Standing there scraping off.
Exactly.
Oh.
And then one of our scenes with me, you, and Yannick, we had to cover the Budweiser with red tape. So, you need a beer? And I'm like, and accidentally I've already like opened it, so we had to like get a cork like
try that
back on.
I'm
pretty sure. I'm actually pretty. Sorry, my thing just notified me there. I'm pretty sure he added like a wee sound effect, like for the beer bottle.
Yeah, the cracking of it open.
Yeah, which is, it's always impressive stuff when you do stuff like that. Like, it was my worst childhood. Why, in my opinion, was Doctor Who. Like, when I bought a sonic screwdriver, right, I wanted the same clicky noise from that screwdriver. And but it was all sound effects this whole time when he's like fucking this butt, and I'm like, yeah, for filming, you're never gonna pick up that sound.
No, I'd like. So I remember having to do that with a small TARDIS. Mm-hmm. And when you open the doors and it makes the noise, I was like excited and opened it. Nothing. It's just all the effect. I'm like, yeah.
Here's a useful story, but like again, if it comes to a TARDIS, I used to have a TARDIS money bank, and I swear if I had at least over 100 quid in that TARDIS, and I've lost it. Like at my last house, I've no idea where it is and all the rest of it. The money wouldn't even matter anymore because it's old notes and stuff. But I'm just like, where the hell did that go? I've no idea. It's an absolute joke.
You know, you'll find it in like 2-3 years and be like, oh, there it is.
See, I thought that, but because I've moved house, I don't really know. I think that's the last of it. Unless someone just, you know,
finds it right
potentially stole it because they knew there was some good earnings in that. Oh yeah, I don't know where your thoughts is. They just threw it away, put it in the skip or something. But yeah, no, I was. But yeah, we get sidetracked. Just like a film, then. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what else can you tell me when it comes to your film then? So Is it a big cast? Is it a big, so like you've got quite a lot involved?
So, the way I wanted to run it is a relatively small cast of 10 people.
Okay.
Because I wanted it because I wanted it to be nice, like an isolated rural town, which is another issue I came to find, is trying to find places that are properly rural now, that still have enough, like connection to internet and whatnot.
Yeah.
Of the way that it works. But yeah, so it's going to be a group of uni students heading over to a rural cabin in the Highlands, and them just having a good time, drinking, music, etc. But then strange occurrences start happening. One of the members ends up, going missing.
Mm-hmm.
We as the audience know what's happened to him, but the characters don't, and then he reappears, and people slowly start dying in mysterious ways throughout, until right at the end where we get the big reveal.
Till the end?
Yeah, right at the end. And it's this, it builds it up because there's so the nine of the characters are all friends, either at uni or from the sort of protagonist. I've wanted it to be very open-ended, so there's no definite, that's who's going to survive to the end. I want it to be that you are constantly thinking, is it going to be them next? It's going to be them. But there's a character that they randomly meet in Inverness on a night out, and he goes with them, and you're like, right, well, clearly that's who it is. That's the killer. Clearly that's who it is. Blah blah blah. But then it unveils that it's not. But yeah, it's gonna be a sizable thing to do, which we'll definitely have to wait until after uni. No way I'm going to be able to do it while I'm still studying.
Might have to be another apple tree golf day to fund it then.
Well, I don't know. The golf club I'm currently working at, they may allow me to do a day there.
Is that Elgin Golf Club?
Yeah, Elgin Golf Club.
Is that where you work?
Yeah, I work. Yeah, I'm the one of the bar supervisors there.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, that's what the last couple of months have been an interesting one.
Is it like a busy golf club, and like is it a drinkers guy?
It can be busy. It's a nice 18-hole golf club, but the see, as I'm not a golfer.
Yeah.
Everything that I've learned, I've just sort of picked up as I've gone along. But apparently, our clubhouse is in the wrong place because it's too far away from the 12th.
All right.
Don't know what that means.
Is ours is too far away from the 12th green. Like, I would say that like maybe the biggest problem is maybe not being able to play 9 holes. So like 9 holes is quite a thing that they go and play 9 and then like come back in. But some golf courses are really bad for that. But yeah, so so when are you thinking of like casting and all the rest? Well, obviously you can't really cast right now, can you? So
I'm not massively being able to cast just now. Especially given the fact that I want to have a diverse cast for it, which is a big problem with the Northeast, is that we haven't a lot of actors and actresses up this way are usually Caucasian, so it would definitely be something that I would have to do as a more of a widespread casting. But a lot of the characters I haven't really. I've got their names, and that's it. I haven't thought about, what their ethnicity needs to be, or what accents it needs to be, because I want it to be as natural as I can. Because if you look at a lot of especially the old American films, horror films, 13th, Halloween, etc., a lot of them are very, well, this is where we're setting it, so everyone needs to be from this state. And I never really liked that, because, so, like, these sort of countries are so diverse that needs to be shown, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Nah. See, I like the idea of it already, because there's something about films that, to me, what I find really amusing and intriguing is the kind of the school or the university aspect. Like, for some reason, it's just like there's something not comforting, but like I don't know, like you get intrigued by, like, so like when you see Spider-Man go to school and you see his school life and also becoming a superhero, like I love that side of things. And most of your TV shows, like just for example, like Sex Education, Riverdale, Teen Wolf, all these kind of, like, that are kind of set from school, outside of school, in a small town. For some reason, like, I just kind of like that kind of thing. But also what you're including is like a kind of a whodunit kind of.
Yeah.
Like, but it's probably much more intense than that.
Well, I am wanting to introduce, so the small thing around Inverness, especially Loch Ness, is that there's a cabin on the East Shore that was supposedly owned by Aleister Crowley, who's the father of, like, the occult and Satanism and whatnot, and I kind of want that aspect to be involved, but I'm not sure.
Have you got the permissions yet?
This is the big problem. It turns out that the estate and the name around Aleister Crowley is well protected.
Yeah.
So it's become very difficult, which is why I'm saying I want to do that, but it's like I may have to just go down the route of a whodunit.
Yeah. There's also, you'll know yourself, when it comes to filmmaking, money talks. Do you know what I mean? Like, with everything, do you know what I mean? So, like, if you manage to get, like, a crowdfund on the go and all the rest of it, and get the right people on board, then I'm sure it'll do well. I mean, for me, I'm intrigued, so, like, we should probably talk about it a bit more, because I would maybe like to get involved in all the rest of it if the things are right and stuff. Like, I'm taking that you might not want. Are you going to star in it, or are you going to just prefer to direct it?
I'd rather not be in it. Again, that's something that, being on set, I've found that it's difficult to be directing it and starring in it. So, yeah. So it's probably something that I would I'd take a step back. But it might also be that I hand the directing over to somebody who is an actual director. So, like, I've been speaking through with a couple of the guys in my fourth year who are local, and talking about maybe doing like a collaboration around there, and handing over, not the whole thing, but handing over the producing and directing side to them, while I concentrate more on the tech side. So, getting
DOP,
waiting.
like, will you be like DOP like Dan, or
I don't know. I might try and see if I can get Dan involved.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Dan's always up for it as long as things are right. Do you know what I mean? Dan's such like, you know, Dan by now being quite, he's quite generous.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what I mean? Like he's quite a generous guy. So when it comes to that kind of thing, I think he'll be more than happy to do it. But,
well, he actually helped me with my third year project. So last year we had to make a short film for the National Trust as part of the unit, as part of our course. And I actually just asked him for advice on how best to do it. And he was like, well, do this, this, this. And by the end of it, he was like, you know what? Sling us 50 quid and I'll do it for you.
Yeah, it's always that number as well.
I know. Came up, filmed it.
Is that all? Take it.
He edited it for us, sent it across, and it was like, it started as, can I get some advice on this? To, yeah, have some money and come and film it with all me.
Yeah, I honestly sometimes just think that is he going to live past a certain age, because the guy is literally a workhorse. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
And the guy who's so into film just doesn't watch any films.
No. Well, the thing is that I think he's younger than us.
I know. I couldn't believe he was a year younger than me.
That's what I'm saying. He's only like, what, 22, 23, and it's just.
I think he's 24 now.
Yeah, probably will be.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy.
It's just crazy the amount that he's been able to do.
But yeah, no, like you're right when it comes to acting and being behind the scenes is hard. Like when I'm on Jacob Tyler, I just think that at times, see when you're trying so hard to organize everything, and then all of a sudden you're on a scene. And then you're kind of like, and then you forget you have to direct with actors, and then you have to direct yourself in a way, and then you're kind of, and then you just kind of forget that it's like, oh shit, I'm acting right now, so like I need to go and act, and then I'm like, okay, it's like sometimes I'm too busy thinking right time, but then I look back in some footage and I'm like, I just wish that I was concentrating that bit harder, and my performance, I felt like there could have been just a wee bit better in that side of things, but it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't really change that.
I think that is one of the big things that it's going to be difficult, especially I'm in front of the camera. I'll be like acting away, but in the back of my head, I'll be like, could be doing this. Yeah. So I think it definitely needs to be. I'll either be acting in it and hand over the directing to somebody else, or completely cast it with fresh faces and do all the directing from behind the camera myself. But one or the other.
See if the scheduling was right, mate, I would more than happy to direct it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I think that I just love those kind of films, to be honest with you. So once you've finished the script, are you finished the script?
No, I've got about 5 scenes into it. We have just
you plotted your story, what you want.
So I've completed the plot line, so where it starts, where it ends, and most of the twists and turns. I think a few of them will be, I'll be writing away and I'll be like, oh, actually, go back a couple of pages and change stuff. But we've in the actual physical writing of the script, we've just entered into Glasgow. This is the thing. It's where I'm wanting to start it is Liverpool, and making its way from Liverpool to Glasgow, Edinburgh, up to Aberdeen, and then on into Elgin and Inverness.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of it's just because I want to show train transitions.
Right. Okay. Right.
Massively inspired by both Harry Potter and Trainspotting.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I love those kind of films as well. Like, what was there was a great film that came out recently. I mean, Liv went to go and see it. It was filmed in the Highlands. Is it called Girls' Night? Is it? Do you know what film that is?
Not off the top of my head. I
think it's called Girls' Night, and Dustin Hoffman produced it. I don't have my PC on me, unfortunately, so I'm kind of. Nico has currently got it editing Jacob Tyler. So. I think it's called Girls' Night, and it was a phenomenal film. But as you were saying there, I like the travel aspect, and before they're going to sing at a choir, they go on a night, like a massive night out, and it's absolutely brilliant. But they're originally from the Highlands, and it's but it's just amazing. Full of fake IDs, full of they talk about the kind of Catholic and Protestant kind of things as well.
Our Ladies.
Aye, that's it. Have you seen it?
No, but I've just searched it up.
Tell you what, it's worth watching. It's a great film. It captures Scotland perfectly as well. So
yeah, as I say, I do love those sorts of transitions, and I think it's trying to find, because I don't want to be the sort of director to copy every other director.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to find my own sort of niche to film.
But that was something I was going to also come into at some point. Who is your favorite director of all time? And was there a certain director other than your favorite that made you think, right, okay, I want to direct film?
So my all-time favorite director, and in a sense writer as well, is Edgar Wright.
Oh, love Edgar Wright. Good choice.
Edgar Wright, and especially the Cornetto trilogies.
Yeah.
It's
untouchable.
It's his. I can't remember the official term, but it's the quick cuts.
Yes.
That he.
It's like the fast transitions into a new scene. It does it perfectly in Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. Those World's End seemed like, it was weird because the first two out of the trilogy, they felt very similar and kind of thing, but then World's End seemed like it was his own film.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, because there was a connection there between Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, but with World's End, it felt just a wee bit out of the box kind of situation, and there was similarities, but yeah, it just felt like it was.
Yeah, it's in terms of it, the trilogy runs in the same way as my favorites of them. So Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and then World's End.
Absolutely.
World's End was still really well done, but it just seemed a bit too far out when it comes to his sort of style.
I felt 95% of the film's great.
Yeah.
5% was kind of okay. Do you know what I mean? There was a few stalled moments, if you like, because I mind that. I knew that was going to happen because I'm balancing on that.
Yeah.
I'm balancing on a tripod. I've got my tripod somewhere, but anyway, I was near the end, and they talk to the supreme kind of leader.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of drunk and talking away, and I just felt like at times that I'm like, okay, it's not necessarily funny, and it's not really
I understand like why it's there because it's the idea behind it, but I feel that if you cut that bit out and just went straight from them, pulling the right pipe and then the big EMP blast, you still get the same impact from the film.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, but no, it's definitely like a right, mainly because the transitions he does is fantastic, and the way that it doesn't matter if you don't understand the little references in there, he has them. Shaun of the Dead, the Punjab that's being played over the radio literally tells you the plot of the film.
Yeah, actually.
And unless you speak or listen or can listen to Punjab and understand it, you wouldn't get it. And it's just these like small little things. Like hot fuzz.
His humor is also so good. Like, but his humor is like, fuck, why did I laugh at that? Do you know what I mean? Like, as it feels like it's like there's like some dad jokey sides of the whole the whole situation. Like, it's even just a bit when there's they're inside the house and they were saying, she's still out there, and he goes to the window and he comes back and he's like, yeah. It's just amazing. Like, that is so, like, I could talk about that all night itself. You know what I mean?
Well, it's also the fact, like, if you listen to, so just after Shaun and Liz break up, they're in the pub. The way what Eddie says, oh, we'll go to the King's Head, blah blah blah. That actually details everything that happens. We'll have a couple of Bloody Marys for the first zombie they encounter. It's called Mary, and she's got blood all over her.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
bite at the King's Head. Well, Philip, King, is bitten, and it's all these like weird little things. And if you go like Hot Fuzz, that's Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt is Nick Angel's ex-girlfriend, but you wouldn't know that because
Sergeant. Did you know that the girl and the jumpsuit? Wait, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is that not? I thought that was.
Emily, or is it?
It's
no.
Thingy. It's. Oh my God! Plays Hella.
Yeah.
Yeah, plays. She plays Hella. Oh my God! I know her. I imagine I know the name. Plays Hella. Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, so it's that sort of like that little thing where she is completely covered. You would not be able to tell.
Yeah.
But she's there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like Daniel Craig being a stormtrooper, wasn't it? So. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And it's just, well, actually, talking about that, the one that's not inspired me to be a director and writer, but still is there, is J.J. Abrams.
Right.
Because I do like his subtlety of certain things. Not a massive fan of the new Star Wars, but I do like the small little subtle things, like Daniel Craig being a stormtrooper.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no need for Daniel Craig to be a stormtrooper, but he's there.
I could say a lot about J.J. Abrams. I could say a lot about him. I mean, yeah, he's a great director, great filmmaker, great. I just think that I want him to challenge himself to writing, producing, and directing his own feature, like something that, like, see Ryan Johnson. I'm not the biggest fan of The Last Jedi, but what was even more disappointing about that was the fact that Ryan Johnson that was making it and writing and directing, and I'm like to myself, you know what, this film is going to be amazing. Like, it's going to be world class, because this is a guy who made Brick, Knives Out, you know, what else was there? I mean, he's made quite a few films. The Brothers Bloom. And, wait, it was a Looper he made as well. Pretty sure he made the Looper.
So this is the beauty of actually moving over onto my phone instead of doing it on the PC, is that these sorts of things I can actually sort. That's the wrong one. No. But I want to say he did do Looper.
Yeah, I mean, again, another great film, but
which is yeah. It's not gonna load, is it? But yeah, like I do understand that. Yeah, Knives Out, Looper, Brick.
Brick was amazing.
Also going to be doing like the other two, because they're making two more Knives Out.
Knives Out, yeah. Glass Onion. Me and my mate Jordan. He did you? Yeah. No, you didn't meet Jordan actually. He was supposed to be heavily involved in Jacob Tyler, but he got a massive job opportunity, and I just feel like he's on media out at this point. So, what do you call it? But yeah, me and him talk about it all the time. We're going to try and go and see that. But here's a question for you though, and I think you've answered it, but I don't know if this is definitely the case. But so, what is your favorite movie of all time?
See, that's a loaded question, because you go, oh, but the one that I think I have most emotional connection to and can rewatch without doubt has to be Tim Burton's Corpse Bride.
All right, interesting.
Yeah, I know it's a strange.
Yeah, I love that.
Left-wing one. Yeah, it's one of those where it's the only one where I've actually had. I've gone to it. The film actually makes me like feel emotional about it.
Aye.
It's the only one. Like, you know, a lot of people, oh, Titanic or, you know, stuff like this. But
there's too many like kind of big names out there, or like
yeah.
There's this guy on TikTok who he asks random strangers in public what the best movie of all time is. Have you ever seen it?
I have seen him, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. Like, and I just love that people have so many different like kind of options. And I mind there was this thing in the cinema once that I was asking everyone what their favorite film was, and I think there was this like teenager at one point who just looked so invested in film. And oh my god, here we go. So what do you call it? So he looked buzzing to see whatever it was out at the time, but I said to him, "What's your favorite movie, man?" He's like Super 8, and I was like, wow, okay, like I like that. And he's like, yeah, I could watch that all the time, and I love everything about it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. See, again, but that to me is amazing, because like it is a good film, and it's like a really good film, but like you just wouldn't think that you would come by someone one day and say, oh, that's your favorite film, while that guy on TikTok, like there was one that said The Grand Budapest Hotel, and I'm like, that. Do you know what? That again, like I can respect that so much, and that's what I love so much about it. I think I've said it a million times, but you know what my favorite film is, don't you?
You have said.
I know, and I talk. It's the reason I got into filmmaking, because obviously all my favourite films, I've got other favourites, but this is the film that I've finally said, screw it, I'm going to make a film.
Shows how bad my memory is. Because you'll say it and I'll be like, yeah, obviously.
We've had long chats as Dan Franklin has been setting up the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Prisoners.
Oh. Yes,
yeah.
no.
It's just,
yes.
It's just a phenomenal film. Like, it's weird how I watch it from a different perspective now. Like, from, like, because when I first ever watched that film, I was very unsettled by it because it's two daughters getting kidnapped and, like, you're just kind of thinking, oh, crap, right, well, that's not very good and all the rest of it. But now I watch it, like, well, I know it's going to happen, but I'm just learning from it every single time I watch it, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, it definitely one that, like, the more you watch it, the more, like, tricks you pick up.
Yeah. I think that film taught me, though, that you don't need any dramatics. You don't need any, like, music to build up a scene. You don't need any, like, you don't need to kind of... It made me want to be a real, like, kind of filmmaker and, like, making real films. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Because see the scene between Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal in the car. So you don't hear any music. Like, usually you'll hear music in the background, like, you know, a fucking soul violin playing or whatever, just to make the scene more, like, kind of sadder. But with this, it was just rain hitting off the windows, the grey tone, and how he builds up and then starts smacking the dash cam, the dashboard, and just kind of showing all of his frustrations of, like, just wanting his daughter back and all that. Like, it changed me. Do you know what I mean? Changed my perspective on film. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought it was the most underrated film of all time.
The boy that wrote it, did he not go on and do Raised by Wolves?
It's Denis Villeneuve. His filmography now is frightening. Like, he's done Prisoners, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival. He's done
the new Dune as well.
Dune, yeah, which is literally turning a lot of heads. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's he's now getting a part 2. Everyone just seems to absolutely love it right now. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's the sort of thing you'd want to do. Is you've released one film thinking, oh, it's going to be, you know, take the risk of it, and then it just sort of exploding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
these different things.
Yeah, literally, like, it's funny because, like, see, with Jacob Tyler, I honestly feel the luckiest guy in the world when it comes to that project. Even though we probably should be finished by now, but, you know, we're making it good, and I think with this film, I want to give everyone an experience. So, like, all my life, I've I don't know about you growing up, Gary, but, like, what for me, like, when I buy a Blu-ray of a film that I'm very intrigued to watch, or DVD, I watch that film so intensely. I sit with my legs crossed, my eyes are up in that TV, and I don't, you know, there's no distractions other than that film. And then by the end of the film, I want to know more about it, so I go to the extras bit, and you go behind the scenes, and you're like, you're so intrigued in how they make this film and how how the premiere started and how what was going on behind making it, and the documentary with people talking about the film, how they enjoyed making it and stuff. And yeah, it was just like that's what I want in Jacob Tyler. For all you guys, I made a promise to an extent that when we make this film, not only we're making a film, I want everyone to be treated, hopefully, like well behind the scenes. I try my best in that aspect. We make a documentary about it because it's to capture something to look back on, and then get a premiere, and just go to that premiere and everyone take in the good work that we made, and then hopefully the Glasgow Film Festival comes about as well. So it's just a total experience. And then there's a wee thank you gift that we're already kind of working on. It's very simple, really. It's a bunch of jumpers for everyone. Do you know what I mean? So it's basically like a big thank you gift, and here's a memorabilia for the project that you've worked on. So
I would love to be able to see that, especially Jacob Tyler, like explode.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we first seen the trailer that Nico had created, I was like, oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
And then obviously it became public and it popped up, and I was like, you know what, it's been a while since I've watched this. So I rewatched it, and it made me go, I disconnected from myself and was like, right, I'm not going to be watching me. And seeing the way that it is coming about makes me go, I want to go and see this.
Yeah.
Because it looks so good.
I appreciate
it. Looking at it, and you go, you see certain shots, you're like, I remember being there for that. It makes me wonder if that's something that's going to be, if, say 5-10 years time, if I do go on and become do all these big acting roles, am I going to be sitting there watching these acting roles and still feeling like, oh yeah, I remember doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Or because we were everyone part of it was so heavily invested in bringing it together.
Mm-hmm.
This really made you go, yeah, no, that's
I appreciate that, mate, because and that's why I say the likes of yourself, I feel very lucky, because not only you acted in the film, you were my soundy, you basically done running work, you've literally a bit of everything, and I'm just like, I mind one day, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're standing packing the van, and I'm just like thanking you for everything that you've done that day, and I'm like it wouldn't be the same without you guys. And it says, I just find it crazy how it looks like you don't mind doing all this and that, staying up till 3 in the morning, packing up the van and all the rest of it, and you're like, well, no, that's wrong. I do mind, but it's what you have to.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm like, it's totally not because I'm stuck in the middle of East Kilbride and waiting for Dan to finish to drop me off my house. But yeah,
it's not you're 4.5 hours away from your house.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I mean, you had your obviously your Glasgow flat at that point as well, which was good.
Yeah,
but, that was a good moment. But I think it's interesting you say that, because I was saying to myself that, see, with the film and its possible successes, we don't know where it'll go, right? But you kind of wonder if everyone does kind of make it and do what they want to do, you look back at Jacob Tyler and or maybe that is the reason why people actually lifted off in the first place. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy to even think that. Do you know what I mean? Because apparently the biggest problem with filmmaking in Scotland right now, I mean, there's loads of problems, you know that yourself, is that apparently it's much easier to get entered into a festival with a feature film. With a short film, sometimes you feel like, see, if you've half-arsed it, you can forget it. And that's like kind of a sad thing because people are so invested in just making short films. But with like Glasgow and Edinburgh Film Festival, I've been getting a lot of confidence in me that, like, because people have been telling me that it seems like because the thing is, like, Glasgow and Edinburgh, they always have like the likes of the next big thing coming out in the festivals. So they want to see more Scottish independent filmmakers making good feature film. So that's why Paul Morris got entered into it, and you know, the rest of it. So like that's why I do feel there is confidence in me that it will just kind of lift off at some point. Question is when, but you know, but it's that is like, yeah, I know, and it's quite nice that you said that, mate, about the trailer and all the rest of it, because I mind my sister's friends were over and they were all talking to me and they were all saying that so you're making a film, Mitchell, I heard, and that kind of thing. So what is it, like a college project? And I'm like, no, it's just a film, like it's a feature film. And they were saying, all right, cool, so what are you going to do with it? And I'm like, well, hopefully Glasgow and Edinburgh Film Festival. Oh, good for you and that. And then you go on to not talk about it for so long, and then all of a sudden, like, because we're working on it, and then a trailer came out, and then everyone is like kind of texting me and like telling Taylor or telling like everyone saying, where'd this come from? Like it's like what the hell? He's actually like making like a full blown ass film. It's like, and he's actually got like, it seems like it's not filmed on his iPhone. I mean, so, no. And I'm like, yeah, so like you all thought it was just like a pretend thing and all the rest of it, but no, it's like that's what it is.
Wow, it almost was filmed on your iPhone. If it wasn't for that.
Yeah, and Tangerine.
Yeah, I was saying, but yeah, no, like when that happened the first time I ever made a short film for was for my audition to try and get into the conservatoire. I made a short film and said, "Oh yeah, I've made a film," and they're like, "All right, cool," and no one ever took it, and I was like, okay, fair enough. And I then made another one that, so I took it and went, okay, well, I went slightly over the top for this one. So my second one I made, I brought it way the way back. Who is just me in it and my partner. We ended up just doing about 5 scenes, couple of minutes, and I showed that, and being told you've made something really good, I think gave me that confidence to go, yeah, maybe this is what we need to end up doing.
Yeah.
And then the third one I've made, which is all based around, which was again for uni, is where I first fell into this trap of having to hide brands, because I had to try and create a space that showed depression. I was like, oh yeah, pizza boxes and cans, and then went, you can quite clearly tell that that's a Domino box.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I think to be told, yeah, you're like showing people that trailer, because I've been speaking about it. You're like, oh, I'm doing this, and they're like, okay, sure. I keep going on about it, and but when they actually saw it, they went, okay, there you go. That's
it's a pat in the bag situation.
That's
like
something. So yeah.
No, it's true, because I mind one of my mates who's quite a critical guy. Like he doesn't like he loves his film, but like it takes a lot to kind of surprise him or whatever. And get like you know yourself, the worst thing that gets told us all the time, and see, the thing is, my niece is watching watching the live, right? So I can't really say anything, but we say that, like, so every time that we get told, no, we tell people about our films and all the rest of it, to then say, oh, is it a A-star film you're making by any chance? And, you know, but in its own slang. And I'm like, I just wish people would, like, kind of respect it a bit more and stuff, because it's like, no, it's not, like go and watch the trailer for yourself and actually kind of, like, see if you're interested or not. And, like, with how he kept giving it to me and that, and eventually the trailer comes out and he watches it, and then he's like, okay, right? It's like, wow, that could have caught me off surprise. Like, it actually looks pretty good and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's like, well, thank you. That means a lot to me, because it's like, it's, yeah, it just means that much to you to make, like, something like it and stuff, you know? So, and especially something like Jacob Tyler, because that's a passion project of mine, and the whole meaning behind Jacob Tyler is just one big kind of personal thing. And but like I've actually, like, it was actually one thing I was going to go into at one point, was see what do you think is the toughest thing about filmmaking?
So I think the toughest thing of it is actually trying to get it off the ground. You can have everyone around you be like, yeah, we can do this, but it's trying to actually plant it. But probably the fact that a lot of people look at it and go, oh, it's only 20 pages. Yeah, you can get that done in no time. And then it's like,
famous last words.
Yeah, it's like, oh, 20 pages, you can film that in a day. So yeah, it is probably that time, like the amount of time that you really have to put into a film to get it even looking half decent.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wish Jacob Tyler was 20 pages long at this point. Honestly, but yeah, no, you're right, mate. Like, it's so tough. Like, what did mine end up? 100 pages long, and my biggest problem is, like, how I wrote the script as well. Like, because I'm not experienced in the screenwriting side of things, and I mind that there was this one thing that was like, so it's a minute a page. That's the way you should look at it for a screenplay. It's a minute a page. So I'm like, okay, so 100 pages, 100 minutes. So what, just over an hour and a half? And I'm like, okay, I should be fine. We've made a rough cut of Jacob Tower of the 70% that we filmed. So, well, actually, it was more 60% at this point. But we put it together, and it's an hour and like 26 minutes or something, like, already. And I'm like, oh my god! So this is why it's taken so long to make. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it might have to be a 2-hour film. We don't know yet, though.
Yeah, as I'm saying, you don't want it to leave too much on the cutting room floor, but. Yeah.
But they'll have to be at some point. You know? There's a possibility that there's a certain part of the film that'll be getting cut completely, just to save a lot of, because it's not needed. But it was more depth for the film. But then you look at it and you're like, well, at this point, you kind of have to look at what is more important and the depth of that side of things. You know what I mean? So, but like, when I watched your films, when I was thinking it, like, it's because to me, like, when you watch people's attempts at making film, and people, for me, I just love film. So when I watched yours, I watched it from start to finish, and you know, and I can respect the kind of message that you tried to, you know, present with your films and all the rest of it. And I did really like it, actually. And with what you had and with like your resources, then like I had so much respect for it, and I kind of found it interesting. So like, was it your second film Because there's 3 up in Tartan Panda's YouTube, isn't there?
Yeah, so we've got
What's the
Winter...
one with the thumbnail? The thumbnail's I don't know who it is, but like it's basically just kind of facing the camera, and she's getting punished by.
Oh, yeah, so that's my very first one, which is called A Winter's Howl. That was one that I had got everything. I'd got my actor in. I'd given him his script, and we were getting it ready. And then on the day of filming, he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I can't make it." And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like in the lurch, and luckily enough, I managed to get a friend of mine in just to do that, to do it. But yeah, so that was my very first attempt at a film, and I can hold my hands up and say that if I were to do it again, I know where to refine it.
Yeah. And would you? And I think I asked Paul Morris this actually when it came to Angry Young Men, because this is like a series I'm doing now. But he asked him the question: if you had a blank check to make Angry Young Men again, would you do it? And I respected his answer with like, well, I think I'm very satisfied with what I made, with what I got. So I think that to touch that up again kind of distracts for what you actually made in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing, like, that you kind of say that. And like, because Quentin Tarantino once said if he was wondering if like how he would make Reservoir Dogs today, like as a remake. And I'm like, well, I'd like to see that, like, because I don't think there'll be much of a change towards him. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think it would be, if not a carbon copy, at least like 95% the same if he was to remake it again, because it, by no point is it a masterpiece, but it's a fantastic film that doesn't need touched.
Exactly.
Like Reservoir Dogs and the other one.
Well, it's Quentin.
Is it? Because it's, yeah, the two, they're not masterpieces, but they are really good, solid films that show the brilliance of Quentin Tarantino, the way that he is as a writer and director.
Yeah, it's like, would you say similar to like the 3 films you made? So would you say, like, if you were to get a blank check, would you remake any 3 of those films, or would you rather move on and do your next big thing?
Well, I would redo my very first one, redo Winter's Howl, but not because I think that it needs anything changed. I just feel that what I wrote it was a good piece of writing, but the execution was wrong. I would actually love to do that sort of thing as like an animation.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. I think that actually does seem like more of like an animation. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's true. Yeah, I like that.
I realised this after the fact. Like, it was written, it filmed. It was weirdly. So that one was the piece that I actually put to the conservatoire for my first audition, and the lecturers said that while it was not what they were looking for because it was too long, they did the exact same thing and was like, if you were to redo it again with everything that the university has, I think you could do really well with it.
Mm.
And that was a pretty confident boost to be told by, industry leaders. Well, not industry leaders, but like, well-respected Scottish directors, writers in the film industry, that to be told, yeah, no, you've made something that, if done properly, would be really well. And I think that done properly would be like an animation.
No, definitely. I think the animation would actually be a good shout, to be honest with you. Because then for that as well, like the good thing about animation is like you're literally making what you want to make. I wouldn't say that. I think there was this one time that I said that my list of projects along the way I want to make when I get my feet off the ground and all the rest when it comes to filmmaking, I would love to make a film, an animation film, and just something pretty short and sweet and short and inspiring, because I love my inspiring films. But yeah, I think that animation, honestly, you actually can tell anything from an animation. And Steven Spielberg said that. It's like they said, if you want to better your kind of filmmaking skills and all the rest of it, you should probably watch more animation.
Yeah.
If you actually look at his top 20 films, at least 5 or 6 of them are animations.
I think that is an interesting idea behind that, because it's like, to go into it, the live action of certain animated films haven't been received as well as the originals have. I think it does come down to that you don't get as much of the story from it because you're restricted with obviously live actors. So I would agree with that statement, that to really understand how to be a filmmaker, watch animations. Yeah,
exactly. Because what I find, and how he explains it, see, let's show this rat his true emotions and how he gets killed. Do you know what I mean? And how, do you know what I mean? And that's what's so amazing about it, showing the little detail of how this bird is so upset and stuff, and it can it can just make you feel like a horrible human being, if you've ever done something like it and all the rest of it, and you're just I feel like animation captures more emotion than anything else these days. Do you know what I mean? For me, a scene, to me, apart from Prisoners, that captured my emotions like that, a slap in the face just like that, was probably, 2 films actually. One was Manchester by the Sea, but and that was to do with him just going to the shop, then coming back to see his house was on fire, and then to find out that his kids have died in the fire, and then you're just and the fact and it's what to me is more kind of gut wrenching for that is that you're not kind of going into the dramatics of showing that the kids are dying in the fire and all the rest of it, but just to it's your heads your head is then saying, oh crap, could you imagine what's happening in there right now?
Yeah.
And the second film was 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, and that is the have you seen that film?
I have, yes.
Yeah, fantastic film, and it's about the daughter getting killed and all the rest of it, and they show a flashback scene of Frances McDormand, who's an amazing actor, absolutely ridiculous. She has an argument with the sister, the daughter, sorry, and it was basically she's thinking about a memory, and then it's you completely forget that she's memorizing something, and then it's they say something, they say all these kind of things about her her being like kind of horrible and all the rest of it, and then she says, it's like, oh yeah, well I hope you fucking die in hell, and then it just kind of cuts back to like her kind of being like, I'm like the worst human being of all time, because she did die, and it's like, oh my god, like it just captured. It literally punched me in the stomach at that point, and I was like, holy crap, because like there's a lot of funny stuff in it, Ebbing, Missouri, but then you forget the subject of the film is quite serious. Do you know what I mean? It's like, holy crap.
I think that comes from obviously two main actors, Frances and obviously John C. Never remember his name.
For who, sorry? Manchester by the Sea.
No, for Three Billboards Outside of Missouri.
The Door.
No, John C. Reilly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the comedy comes from just the way that like he and Frances end up like interacting, and the way that they sort of just, I don't know how you say, like the way that they sort of meld.
Yeah, no,
Because,
definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's a lot of moments in that film that you just think, fuck, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of funny stuff in it, a lot of unserious stuff in it, but then all of a sudden there's just there's a lot of twists and turns to it. Like, not twists and turns, but like there's turns to the events of like one moment this is funny and quite heartwarming from a certain character, to then oh my god, this guy's now just being even more of a idiot than he is. Sam Rockwell is the policeman, who was just unbelievable in the film, right? He beats the living crap out of the guy who is in charge of the billboards, and then throws him outside the window. Do you mind that bit?
Yeah.
And which he's like, it just like, you could actually see that he was just done at this point, because it's like, see, the more I watch that film, because the first time I watched that film, I was like, I hate this cop so much. I actually hate him so much, and like I actually despise every part of his character. But then it's like, how do you make up for? How do you like kind of forgive him after like what he's done and stuff? Yet he does it anyway. But see the bit when he does that, and then he smacks the girl, like with the bloody baton or what, like, you know, the police whip, and then you're just like, so in his head, it's like, if it wasn't for these stupid 3 billboards, this situation with the captain wouldn't have happened. If it wasn't for, like, I think they just looked at it as like, do you know what, this is all just being difficult, because like they're just trying to live a normal town, normal life, trying to move on, but people can't, and they're just trying. It's like protesters, right? Some protesters they're doing certain stuff that are really unnecessary, but they're trying to prove a point for something. But I'm like, and it's like, right, okay, but like, why are you sitting on roads? Why are you like forcing people not going to the hospital and all the rest of it? It's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that film was pretty deep, I must admit.
Was that based off a true story, or?
I think most of it was fictional. Inspired by a story, yeah. But most of it was fictional. Yeah, inspired, when you know it's an inspired by a film, then like my film, for example, is inspired off true events, but it's also like there's a lot in my film that's kind of fictional as well. So like one of my biggest secrets ever is there's a reason why I made see your running scene in the film.
Yeah.
That came from three different things, and I merged it into one, and I'm like, that is perfect, and we're going to work on that so much, because that part of that scene in this film, like, in my opinion, has to be probably the most important scene in the film, and just from a horror aspect, and I mind always, like, you've been through the wars with this film, but like, see like see just making that where we're like in the back of the car holding Dan from not falling out. You're running. I have to drive his van and all the rest of it, and then what a night that was. But then when we filmed down the Glen and the flashing scene,
Yeah.
oh, like I just see if we do that right, mate. It's gonna terrify a few people. It's got like I think that it's one of those moments that you could think that I'm not gonna blow my own boat here or blow my own trumpet, but like if you were to do that right, it could be one of those kind of situations of top 5 jump scares of all time kind of thing.
Yeah,
because like it is quite terrifying to think. Do you know what I mean?
See, all I can remember from that night was being chased around by a helicopter.
That was a pain. Yeah. I mean, we were ready to do one of Johnny's scenes, and you were on sound that night, and the audio set was just terrible. Like, it wasn't working for you at all, and it kept cutting off. And do you mind that? That was horrible. Yeah. And I think it was like the second last shot of the night or something.
Yeah, trying to get the last shot set.
Yeah, and you, like, we're ready to roll. It's like, yeah, everyone ready? Yeah, everyone ready? And then you're like, oh, guys, fuck's sake. Yeah, you just,
yes.
you just lost it, because it's like it was just happening all day.
Yeah, it was such a long night. I mean, it's not as bad as having to sit in a bush.
Oh, yeah. Did you not have to sit? Like, so you sat in a bush, and you also sat on top of a...
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know what that shed was.
The shed, it's like a power plant.
I would think, yeah.
It's like
Sat in bushes, went into ditches, been on top of power sheds. Yeah.
To be fair, when you had to lie down, hide in the forest, remember Sarah's scene?
Yeah.
That was... we were watching the rough cut of that, mate, and honestly, like, that scene makes me so uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That was crazy.
Even more uncomfortable, because obviously with the headset on, you're hearing everything.
Yeah.
You can hear Robbie's, like, breathing. And it's like...
Yeah, I know, you can watch or hear everything.
So unsettling.
Yeah. I said, oh, Sarah. And how
even from that point, you're like, even just hearing this, you can tell that this is going to be a good scene and a good shot.
Yeah. See, that's the thing as well. Like, I look back at those scenes, right, and I say to myself, right, maybe I should stop worrying too much, because, like, how this film's going to go. Because I feel like there's going to be scenes like that some people can sit down in the audience and actually respect filmmaking, because like that is like, oh my god, that made me uncomfortable. And the whole point of film is to give a reaction. Do you know what I mean? Is to get a reaction out of someone, and that I think is like, I think that scene will cause a bit of a reaction. That's for sure. So many other scenes, but
yeah, there's a few scenes that I can already tell that there's going to be a few people in the audience that are going to like tense up at.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially once they like know the behind the scenes stuff of it.
Yeah. We've got Peter on board now, who, like, for the last 30%, hopefully is going to capture much more behind the scenes and all the rest of it. Which again is going to be something great to look back on. So for the premiere, the whole idea is to have the premiere, but not have the documentary first and then go on to the film, and then which will be a good touch. But for the I must actually ask, like, see out of Jacob Tower, like, what was probably your most like what was your favorite moment out of like the whole thing?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but I definitely think it's the funniest of it is when we were filming in, I think it was your auntie and uncle's house.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had everything set up, and we were doing the scene across the table, and Dan and I kept falling asleep. Like, I don't know if you knew about this. There's a scene where it's between you and Ibs, and there's a few times where we've had to like cut and reshoot because the boom mic's gone in. I'm like, oh yeah, I must have just slept. No, Dan and I literally had fallen asleep. Like accident.
we had a time limit for that day, to get out and move location, and that probably surprised me how we just managed to get that on time. Do you know what I mean? Like, because the amount of cuts we had, and oh my god, it's just an absolute joke. As you can out. I'll wait for him to come back. Oh, I think he maybe his phone ran out or something, you don't know. There we go. Maybe some fault on my end as well. There we go. I was like the circle. I was like just talking to myself for a minute as well. So
it's funny, and then you just sort of froze like this.
I'm telling you, what I was saying was that I said that that day I was surprised that we managed to. That's like, it's so annoying. I'm charging my phone while doing this, but I keep saying, 10%. Like, who cares? It's because I'm on live. But that was quite funny. We just kept messing up the same thing every single time. Like the most like, you must admit, like, though, like, for me the most memorable moment out of everything was probably when we got into that altercation with that guy, that neighbour.
Oh yeah, that's where we're packing up.
Yeah, crazy. Like, see, the thing is, right? Yeah, I get we probably can be loud at times. Dan is a loud person. I'm loud, right? See, when I don't realise it, I'm a very loud guy. And Jesus, man, but like, I just felt like that guy, he wasn't out to tell us respectfully to be quiet.
No.
He was there for a fight. Like, let's be honest. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wanted to do something to us in that. And this is the problem. Like, we will actually, like, see if he just came out and respectfully said, like, guys, just to let you know, I've got some kids in the house, and me and my wife are trying to sober up early for something tomorrow and all the rest of it. Then, yeah, of course, I'm very sorry to, disturb you like that and all the rest of it. But, mate, don't come out wrapping keys around your fist and acting like you're going to try and beat up someone, especially when there was me, you, Dan. Well, Dan's not going to do it. He was hiding behind us all. And then there was Ibs. Nah, like, Dan, I think he was being the smart guy that night. And Nico, Ibs. And it's funny because, like, We've had a few altercations, and that one is probably the most intense.
Yeah.
But everyone, I mean, Nico said to me once, is like, I don't know how you can stay calm in a moment, and how you can stay calm and like talk someone off, because like for me, I would just like try to swear go and all the rest of it. For that guy, I mind, like I was not pushing him away, but I was like kind of saying, "Look, mate, just like we're sorry. Don't make this any worse than it has to be. Just forget it. Like stop shouting and yelling. Like come on, let's be adults here." And and we went to a location, an abandoned location, to film at, and we were waiting for Dan for ages, and like he finally comes, and we're about to pack out the van, and then this old lady comes by and says, it says, "Oh, you just have to leave. Like, you shouldn't be here," and all the rest of it. You can, and she made the worst excuse ever, literally the worst excuse ever, to say that we had to go and all the rest of it, and saying, "Oh yeah, because if a tree falls down and wrecks your car and all of it," I'm like, I'm sorry, but that's not what we're concerned about. Like, we're not really like thinking that. Like, let's go. Because and I was like, saying, like, here's the situation. Is there any chance today, even if I try and get some permission to try and film here? And she was like, not today, you can't. But if you phone out Carmichael Estate, they'll tell you the information and what you need to do. I'm like, right, fair enough. Is like just like if there's any chance. And then she's talking to me about the film, right? And she's saying, like, okay, what's it going into and all the rest of it, and like, what are you planning on doing with it? And I'm like, yeah, and you would get special thanks and all the rest of it. I was getting somewhere, but then all of a sudden, I mind Johnny just by, and he was like, you can't make us leave, you can't make us leave in that, and like, it's like, you know, this isn't against the law and that. My mum's a lawyer and all that. And I'm like, oh man, everyone said to me after, it looked like you were getting somewhere until she had an argument with you. It was so funny, man. And I'm like, but even they say that, but Johnny was right, and like, I don't think that either way, I don't think we're going to be filming. Like, to be honest with you though, I tell you what, we could have probably filmed the thing with her just overlooking us the whole time, trying to convince us that we couldn't film and all the rest of it. She said she would call the police and all the rest of it, and I'm like, and see where this location is, by the way. A police call out for that location was never going to happen anytime soon. Do you know what I mean? Like, they would take ages to get there, and I mean ages. Like, and the road, man, oh my god, the road was so bad, so many potholes, and like, it was terrible. But like, I just kind of gave in. I was like, look, there's a second location we can go to. Let's go to that. And we found possibly our best one of the best fight scenes in that. So you kind of get something out of it.
Yeah, it was like I was trying to get the can't remember what the, you know, where we were doing all the where we ran over Nico. I was trying to figure out how best to say it. Like,
we ran over him. Yeah,
yeah.
Literally, that as well.
Like, I think that was a bit of, you know, trying to convince them what we were trying to do was.
The guy came out.
Yeah, and I know, it's just like,
because it was funny because he was wondering what we were doing, and I was like, it's like, oh, we were planning on doing some filmmaking. And they were in this part. I was like, and he's like, oh, no problem. It's just like, it looked like he was trying to kick us out at first, didn't it? But then it was like, we're just looking at maybe doing some filmmaking and like filming around this bit. Is that okay? I was like, oh, yep, absolutely fine. Yeah, batter on, guys. I'm like, yeah, that was easy. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, are you going to be pointing at the building? No. All right then. Carry on. Like, okay. But
the only time we used the building for was to get coffees.
Yeah, coffees and they're using the toilet.
Yeah, and I need to tell you this, by the way, just for like a funny side, and you're gonna be raging to an extent, but see the chase scene we done that night with Johnny.
Yeah.
There's parts of it going to be cut out because we're replacing it with some better footage because we looked at it and it's just not looking good. You know what I mean? And especially the bit, there's maybe a part of it that we're gonna use, but where you're lying on top. So yeah, mate. Just to let you know, you've done that for nothing.
Nothing.
Just to be honest with you.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah, I when you started saying the chase scene, I thought you were meaning my bit, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
Well, I've got some other news for you, mate. We're gonna try and maybe do a wee bit more of that. So we're gonna maybe add. We're maybe gonna reshoot a wee bit of it, but don't worry, you still we need to look at continuity. So that's the biggest thing. See, the thing is as well, I'm kind of annoyed because I must admit I gained a bit of weight recently and stuff in like the last few months. And I watched myself on some of the scenes, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, you can actually see the weight gain, like, compared to other scenes in that, like, a bit more puffier and stuff. And it kind of annoys you to some extent. Like, I'm not going to fat shame myself or anything, but...
Well, that's my... So, watching the trailer and all that, I'm looking at myself, and I'm like, it might be a little bit of, you know, I've became a lot thinner last couple of months.
Is that?
And
so you're going the other way.
Yeah, so you're gonna be like, there's gonna be these scenes of me running at a party, all this. But when we actually see me in the hospital bed, they'll be like, "Wow, that beating really helped him, didn't it?"
Yeah, like, you were well,
because my head's not as blobbed out around the hair now.
Well, if you think about it, your character is basically gone for what, almost a full day and a half. If you think about it, so
yeah,
like is like a full day and a quarter even, that you're basically battered and bruised and you've got some broken ribs and all the rest of it, like just lying in a ditch. Do you know what I mean? Like, I look forward to filming that scene. By the way,
I don't.
There'll be a lot of makeup. You'll be on the makeup chair for a while. That's for sure.
Yeah. The only thing I'm saying is that I'm making sure there's no bloody pine cones this time.
Oh yeah.
That was I think it was when I did the first fall onto the floor. Ended up rolling over and getting a pine cone in my side, and I just have to lie there still. Yeah. With this pine cone poking in my ribs, I'm like,
nice.
Making sure it's a clear space before we do anything in a ditch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess the thing, like, I'm trying to think. There's parts that we can kind of like do for you in that, but like. Yeah, like the whole thing in the script was basically you're lying, basically dying in a ditch. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like running water and all the rest of it. Like, they basically, and because the way I look at it, right, in a very sick manner, right, is that the clowns have basically beat you up very, very badly to the point of like you could almost be dead. And not to make it even worse, is the fact that there's like a well bit, like a kind of waterfall down that glen shot. They've basically chucked you down. So
I'm glad.
We'll get a dummy for that.
Yeah.
And you're getting drifted ashore. Like, you know, like not ashore, you know what I mean? But like basically lift up to a point that you can just kind of lie there with like water around you. You're soaking wet. And a dog walker finally finds you.
Well, I'm glad that I did. So I've actually, there's a few audio files that's just named Waterfall because what I did is I've just stuck it in. And I've got that's probably enough. Yeah. We were doing all the ambient stuff, so there we go.
You and Jessamine, who you've worked with on the sound, Chad's, So my flat, you've not been to my flat yet, have you?
No.
So, I mean, I've got rid of it already, so it doesn't matter. But see, that the shower that was in that apartment made the weirdest noise of all time, and it was like a devil gargling something. I'm not even kidding. And you and Jess was like, "What is up with that shower?" And he's like, "Do you know what? I'm gonna get some like sound stuff for this to see what, and I'm gonna put it in my files for maybe just something along the line, like along the that in my career." And I'm like, "Go for it, mate. You know, batter away." So I was like, but yeah, no, the flat helped a lot to some extent.
Yeah.
You might know yourself, it's difficult in this day and age to own one if you don't have a decent enough job and all the rest of it, and like don't know how to kind of keep up with bills and that. So
yeah, like,
so is that you? Are you selling off the flat in total then?
It's already on the market, so it's just slightly below what we paid for it, but luckily the housing price around that area has not dropped enough, you know. So it's good for now.
Do you plan? Do you ever plan moving back to Glasgow at some point, or do you think Elgin for now until later notice?
So I'm not 100% sure. I would like to move back down to Glasgow, but I don't know how long that will be. Probably will be a while.
Yeah.
But initially, first I'm actually looking at getting my driver's license.
Good stuff.
That's
not far away as well. She's getting her test booked and basically hopefully
because my dad did. I had a look at all the insurance stuff for my equipment, and it's like does not get covered if it gets broken or out on a train or a bus. So,
see your. Did you end up buying your sound equipment, by the way?
Yes. So I've got my Rode stuff. It's basically the same as what Dan had. It's the Rode 5, and I've actually got his old mixer. So I bought his old mixer off him.
Nice.
So I got all that set up and
he's always upgrading.
Yeah.
He's always upgrading, isn't he? Like his new lenses and everything. He honestly looked like a kid in the candy shop, like just showing me them. That's what I mean, like honestly.
Yeah. I remember last time speaking to him, he was like, "Oh yeah, I've got these."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
he's like, "Mitchell, wait till you see my new lenses." I'm like, "Yeah, cool."
No, I like to get myself a camera, and I'm nowhere near what Dan has now.
Mate, I don't think any of us will be. That's the thing. Like, but see, when I look at Peter's, the photographer's camera, he basically filmed a kind of additional angle for us for me and Karen's recent scene that we shot, and it looks very similar footage to the Arri Alexa, but obviously, like when you set the Arri Alexa down onto a scene, it does everything for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, basically, like it just covers everything. It's brilliant. But his looked good for much, you know, cheaper than like what Dan's is. But I'd rather in the long run if we just kept Dan, like if we just kept paying him off and stuff, just because and he could do with the money, he could do with, like, you know, because that's what he does at the end of the day, and like we just like it that way. So
also he's just moved down to Glasgow, so he's got the cool thing.
It's funny as well because like I upped his price to help him out with the whole Aberdeen situation, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, it's like, so can that decrease now because you're now down in Glasgow?
Reduce it slightly now.
I'm like that to myself. You know what? Nah, stop being a dick. Just keep paying him because he's doing a good job. So, you know what I mean?
Like, but no. camera wise, I'm still on my Canon D3500.
Yeah.
But I can't use it because haven't got it has got a screen, but I've taken it apart and can't figure out why the screen isn't working. And yeah, and I've not got enough money to replace the £400 camera.
I mean, like if we unrealistically made millions and millions out of the golf day coming up, then I'll just buy the rights to Dan Franklin, and he has to do whatever I want. Do you know what I mean? So
I know.
to all his equipment and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? But just buy the same equipment, and then I'll buy a storage unit so that like all my film equipment's in there for now. But yeah, for now I'm paying Dan, and because the thing is, I'm not actually good with the technology side of things. I'm just good at telling people this is what I want, and then this is how we're doing it. So, and once they do it, I'm like, oh, sick! It's exactly what I wanted as well. And then, yeah, and I think that's what Jacob like. There's some scenes that I kind of look at and I'm thinking, right, okay, I can take that, but I would have probably filmed it another way and all the rest of it. But I would like to maybe, because like in the long run for Apple Tree Pictures, I'm thinking that we do get our own equipment eventually, but that comes to like space and all the rest of it because we need to store it. I think we're seeing a big future in Apple Tree and stuff, and like what we can do for the likes of yourself and everyone in the cast and like the other projects. Because, funnily enough, I have basically started writing my new project because I'm bored and I've got nothing else to do with Jacob. So, I think it's 2:06. I can show you an exclusive. This is where everyone just starts coming onto the live.
I mean, you're better organised than I am with my stuff.
I know, like I've just started doing this, so don't be thinking I'm always like this. I was a horror project.
There's that's my storage.
Yeah, so we can all relate to that. Mine's all stored in this bag. So like there's quite a lot of pads there for different things, but there's some concepts. It's a paranormal investigation film.
All right.
But yeah, but it's like a feature film, and like it's not like just to do with the paranormal. It's like to do with other people as well. But anyway, I've got some concepts here, which is all you'll get for now. And then I've started attempting some storyboarding. I'm not the best storyboard artist. So here's a pitch for you, right away. It is going to be filmed in Les Mahago, South Lanarkshire. I need a house to film in. So I need like an actual house that's going to be full-time filming in it. So there's that thing, just like true mismatch with their cottages. I need at least 2 or 3 houses, but yeah, anyway. I'm keeping the casting to a minimum because you don't really need that big of a cast. So far, I have possibly Birkwood Castle is going to be quite a lot of where we're going to be filming if we can get permission rights. How many pages am I on? I am 9 pages into the script. Wait, what did I? Oh yeah, the cast, sorry. Oh no, there it is. Right. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 cast at the moment until I write something else. But if you're wanting to audition, or not even, well, I might even offer you a role, to be honest with you. So yeah, there is that for now. It's untitled for now because I think titles for me are very hard to kind of make these days.
So that's my current uni project.
Put it down a bit. What does that say?
Be careful what you wish for, and that's its title.
I think I'm pretty sure there's a film called that.
Probably.
Careful what you wish for. I think it's Careful What You Wish For.
Yeah.
And Nick Jonas starts in it.
Oh.
So they might let you away with it. You never know.
Oh yeah.
50. He's but yeah, no, I think yeah, no, because so is that for the project you're kind of working on?
So that's for the uni one. It's just 15 minutes for what's called a swan song, which is like a grouping of performances. It's not going to be R-rated. That one. But, yeah.
R-rated. I like it.
But no, I get what you mean by titles.
Have you seen the film? Have you seen the film recently called X?
Yes.
Yeah. See, did you get any inspiration from that?
No.
No.
It's a good pitch. Don't get me wrong. It's a decent enough film.
It's because I keep forgetting. This isn't the same project. I keep forgetting it's your uni project. So, no, because like you know how the one you're talking about the cabin and stuff and.
Oh yeah. Was it that one is more inspired by dog soldiers, as I'm saying, but also a bit of there's a video game by I want to call it Dark Pictures, which, by the way, is also a very good company name. Right. It wasn't already taken, but it's called Quarry.
Quarry. Yeah. Quarry.
Yeah. And that's kind of where it's one of those things where I was just going through Steam and I seen it and I was like, oh yeah, I know this company. I watched the trailer and I went, huh, that's actually a really good idea, but I'm not a massive fan of the werewolf thing.
Yeah, I think that's
like I canned that sort of thing, but then I came back and sort of looked at it again and gone, maybe do something about the occult in Scotland. So we'll roll with that. But at the moment, it is just, as I'm saying, like a murder mystery, whodunit sort of thing.
Love it. Well, it might not be handy talking it on here, but I'd like to actually maybe have a call with you to a private phone call to talk more about it. You know what I mean? So maybe even after this, if you want, just real quick. But because just to kind of, I was going to say we can talk about that after this if you want. So what I was going to maybe end it on was I think because I did write some. So I had one more question for you, and the last question was, if you were to become a professional filmmaker, what actor would you like to work with the most?
So again, honestly, I would really like to work with Kevin McKidd.
Oh, nice! I like that.
And it's mainly because making a film with Kevin McKidd and Edgar White would be like working with two people who, one, who's inspired me to become a filmmaker, in Edgar Wright, and then Kevin McKidd, who actually inspired me to go on to do acting. Because we're both from Elgin, and we both have severe dyslexia.
All right.
Also, it'd be one of those weird things of like the older generation of Elgin actor working with the younger generation of Elgin actor. But yeah, that's probably the actor I'd love to work with.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. Because the question kind of brought up to myself was because so I'm very taken to Jordan Peele as a kind of filmmaker these days, and like because I think he's made 3 great films so far, and again, like that, I feel like that's the only kind of route I'll go towards. Other than not fictional, I would prefer to act. No, sorry. When it comes to superhero films, most of the time I prefer to act in them.
Yeah.
Rather than make them to put it onto my kind of filmography. But I would be so open to making a Batman film or a Spider-Man film, but because they're 2 of my favorite superheroes. But to some extent, I'd rather be the actor in them than the filmmaker. I'd rather kind of intensely work myself to try and kind of earn a role like that. I feel like I would fit the Peter Parker a bit more than the Bruce Wayne, but like, do you know what I mean? So, because like Bruce Wayne, you have to be on it as an actor to kind of portray that. Because you know, I think Pattinson done a decent job. His film was phenomenal. But like the likes of Christian Bale and Keaton and Affleck showing how you do Bruce Wayne, it's quite thingy like that. But no, sorry, can I get sidetracked there? But with Jordan Peele, how he makes his films and all the rest of it, I like how it's just fictional and it's just from his perspective and horror, and he was saying that basically Daniel Kaluuya was his De Niro. It's basically he is Scorsese and he's his De Niro. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, right, I understand that. And at this moment in time, it's like for me, I think Abraham and Nico, Johnny, Ryan, they're all like my kind of like, you know, De Niro's and like Scorsese, Pacino's and stuff. So yeah, it's like one of those things because but then there's other projects that I feel like not even any of them would fit into the film at all, just because it's different, you know. Like I just couldn't see them fitting into my passion golf project. So you know what I mean? Because that still makes me sick to my stomach, that project, because if I ever even think about attempting to make it, it would just be far too much. Do you know what I mean? Like the money needs to be there, the right cast needs to be there, the right hands need to be on the script. That like everything just needs to be perfect about it. You know what I mean? So, and people say that about every project, don't they? But it's with that, it's like, especially when it's golf. There's not many great golf films out there. Like there is a few, but with that, I feel like you have to kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. So yeah, but yeah. So we've got your film coming up. So we've got a lot to look forward to for yourself.
Here's hoping, yeah.
Yeah, and basically everyone who's watching, follow Tartan Panda, because there's exciting things to come from him. I also want to give another big thank you to your mum, because she honestly made a big difference with giving that very kind donation to the film, and it's helped massively since then. It just shows how quick that grand can go away, though.
Yes.
because from filming, because it's you know, it's funny as well, actually, before we kind of shut off and stuff, but have you heard of Chris Stuckman?
I've heard the name, yeah.
He's a movie reviewer on YouTube.
That's probably where I've heard his name from, yeah.
Yeah, because he reviews films, but he's an aspiring filmmaker, and he's making a film right now called Shelby Oaks, and the film Shelby Oaks is based off of I keep forgetting the whole saying when you call it, but it was to do with the paranormal paranoids.
Okay.
And have you ever heard of the paranormal paranoids?
I've heard the term, yeah.
Yeah, so basically it was like I don't know if what they call it is like a void, like, or something, like it's like a YouTube void or something. But anyway, so like it's a bunch of actors, a bunch of YouTube creators made this channel called the Paranormal Paranoids, and they made a series of videos of them investigating paranormal locations. And I built up to like this big story, and there was like a last video, and it was terrifying. Like, some of it is terrifying, and he's now like, and we've not heard of any of the actors or actresses in the film. No, sorry, in the series since they last uploaded, and you're just like, okay, who are these people? Why are they so anonymous? And what actually happened to them? Because this is weird, like how this has happened. And is this real? Is it fake? Like, you can tell it's probably is fake, but it's very kind of freaky, like how it all happened and stuff. So he's now making the film Shelby Oaks based off that Paranormal Paranoids, and I think that the casting is off of like those characters and stuff, which is crazy. And if you go on YouTube, he's making like documentaries. He's made 4 episodes so far of behind the scenes of it. And again, like, it's just, again, stuff like that just gets me so hyped for making stuff like Jacob Tyler, because he actually was making it, and then he stopped and said, like, we're not going to make this because we need a crowdfund on the go. Now, of course, this guy from 2 million subscribers does a crowdfunder, and he wanted 950 grand for the film. Guess how much he made?
I mean, you probably are looking at what, couple of million.
Okay, you're almost there, but he's 400 grand over the target. Crazy, isn't it? So he had 1.3 million to make that film, and it's like, I hope it's good, and I can't wait to actually see it as well.
I think with something of that size, especially with that much money behind it, should hopefully be able to make something
but
really good.
I've had stuff like Cats, and you know, and
yeah.
You know what I mean? But this guy's very inspired by what he wants to do. So
yeah.
I feel like I do trust him to kind of give us something pretty cool. So
like, it sounds like something that would be like really interesting to get behind.
Yeah,
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember that Paranormal Paranoid, because it's the ones where they literally just disappeared.
Yeah. The blonde girl's like the main character.
Yeah. Because there's an entire channel just dedicated to like the evidence of them that they actually did. Yeah. And it's
quite weird. It is weird, isn't it? Like, I think, so I think that, and I think that's why I kind of grew, like, I grew, again, trying not to blow on Trump or anything, but I saw a guy, Paul was actually joined here. I don't know if he's still on the live or not, but basically I feel like he advertised his film very well for people to get interested in joining.
Yeah.
And how I pitched the idea. Actually, no, I'd like to hear your kind of opinion on that, like, or your experience on that. Like, so once I posted on that Scottish filmmakers and actors about Jacob Tyler, what made him message me and say, "Yeah, dude, I'm interested"?
It sounded like such an interesting thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like the way that you'd had it like described, like the thought of it. It sounded like, yeah, no, this is something that I could get behind. And obviously, it was kind of just a leap in the dark. You know, I was wanting to expand my repertoire back into films, and it seemed the perfect opportunity. And luckily, that leap of faith has paid off really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think the up in the airness of the film has actually been a benefit, because it's allowed us to kind of see what went wrong, how did we fix it, how will we not do it again.
Yeah,
and I think it's allowed us all to grow in our own, in our own positions as actors, as Sandy's camera. I think Nico's now found his calling in life, other than being hit with vehicles as a focus point. You know, I think it's been something that is. It was a shot in the dark, and it's a shot that's paid off.
Yeah, exactly.
So like everyone who really kind of know what they're doing, and where they want to go with it.
Yeah, I think you described it quite well, actually, because a lot of people kind of said similar. Do you know what I mean? And once we had that week of filming, so like when we had like a full week of filming every day, and that's probably why we're at 70% now, because of that week in general, because we got a lot done that week. Do you know what I mean? And everything, like, I feel like this is probably the luckiest project that ever is getting filmed right now, because just you being a soundy, just you like people doing the extra work, going the extra mile, and some others have helped me out with certain things. Dan only charging me so much for what should be paid hundreds for, and just like I couldn't feel more luckier about the project and all the rest of it. Like, everyone kind of believed in what I was pitching, and what the idea of it all was. It's like, because I know people out there who have the idea of making a film, and I've went and experienced some people that had this great idea of making a film, but then you go on set and you think, oh my God, this just makes my production feel better. Do you know what I mean? Because for me, it's like, I know we could be better with organisation. We could be better with the call sheets, all the thing. I feel like we're in a kind of pattern right now that we're now, this is how Jacob Tyler works until the end. And then like when and then once we move on to the next project, we're basically like, okay, we're gonna do this by the book now.
Yeah, we've seen what we've done last time or two better this time round.
Yeah, definitely. Because Dan, he's been involved in so many professional sets and all the rest of it, and I'm like, understandably, okay, like, originally this film's supposed to be shot on a fucking iPhone, so do you know what I mean? So it's getting there, and like, we're now kind of understanding. But I tell you what, if you've not got it, buy this book.
Mate, yeah.
It's so good. It's honestly amazing. It's like, I think I just kind of look through that all the time, think, right, okay, that's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, this is actually like what I'm going to be doing for the next film and stuff. So, but yeah, so basically, you know, let's hope the golf day goes all well in that, and hopefully that we can, because this will obviously benefit all yous to help out with the travels and all the rest of it, and because there's people coming, like there's a lot of my good friends and workers from Edinburgh now that are going to be ADs and stuff, and that I need to kind of put that money towards and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing what the future brings for it. So, and yeah, and as I said, I can't wait to work with you again, and we'll talk about. Obviously, I'll give you a quick call before I do anything. For whatever, but yeah. So, but this was fun. I'll leave you to it. I'll let you go off now. Thanks for joining Filmmakers and FilmMakers. And yeah, I'm just going to do a quick thingy before I go as well, just to say that all the rest of it. So, okay, my man.
Yeah, no worries.
So that's 2 hours. So, just like that. We've talked for a good 2 hours there, and I thought it was pretty successful. So, must say.
See you later.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. No, thanks for coming on, mate. So, and I'll see you soon.
No problem. See you later.
Bye. See you soon, man.